Hello, welcome to round 9, live broadcast, round 9 of the Silverest Chess Championships. We're taking particular interest in the elite section. That's where we have representation by two grandmasters and quite a number of international and FIDE masters, both local and from neighboring countries. So right now we are focusing on board 1. This is a duo between GM Belasin Bilao, who's currently leading the tournament, against Zambia's national champion and World Cup representative Chitumbo Mwali, locally known as the Copper Eagle. The Copper Eagle is with the black pieces, and we can see that he's come out fairly okay in the opening phase of the game. White has just castled, so we're trying to see and follow what international master Mwali responds. There's B5 is a top engine recommendation, but we also see that probably you may want to complete development by castling and later on develop the light squared bishop. We can see that GM Bileo has almost completed his development. The king is safe. All the minor pieces are out, apart from the dark squared bishop. So, but yeah, it's a fairly balanced position. So we've got quite a battle on our hands. Can we move to the next board, on board 2? This is, if I'm not mistaken, he's played Dingleren before, he's played Kramnik before, and Kausen. So that is three world champions that he's faced before. I'm sure not so many players, especially in this part of the world, can boast of such a feat. He's represented the country at maybe 2 or 3 World Cups, and he's been national champion for quite some time. He's currently squaring off against Malawi's Joseph Mwale. Mbwalia is fighting for second position, and also in case his compatriot Chitumbo Mwali does on board 1, Mbwalia is even in contest to fight for the top position. So we see that both players have developed their pieces, though it's still too early in the game. We are currently on move 15. Walia has got the black pieces. Mwale is in white, already castled. The material is equal, and we can see that it's still a fairly balanced position. So there's quite a lot to fight for in this position. It's black's turn to move. I think he's been thinking for the last couple of minutes or so. He's contemplating. I'm just wondering whether he's contemplating if he can castle queenside. Then we can have an interesting battle. As you can usually tell from a number of games where players castle on opposite side of the board, that there's usually a lot of intense fighting on the board. Victory tends to go towards the player who's going to attack the opponent's side much quicker, or rather more coordinated. But then if it doesn't castle queenside, probably he's contemplating developing his f8 bishop. Then he can castle kingside, probably sit down to re-strategize. Then we're going to have a battle on our hands. But early days, still contemplating. But if you see how these experienced players take their time, even if it's in the opening, even if it's something that we may see that this looks like a straightforward move, they still want to check, to go through everything, to thoroughly check, to make sure they don't miss out anything. They take the time, because this is a classical game. No rush decisions, because the rush decisions sometimes turned out to be very costly. Yeah, so interesting battle. Both players have just spent about 10 minutes on the clock, so we can see that time management from both sides is okay, because sometimes time does actually play a very critical role in chess. Sometimes some commentators even argue that if there's a big time difference, or when one player is in time trouble, this is equivalent to like an extra piece. Okay, so that's our board 2 game between FM Joseph Mwale of Malawi and I am Walia, both fighting to finish on a high. Like I said, I am Walia has got chances of even slight chances of tying for first, but more realistic chances of securing the silver medal. If we can please shift to board 3. If you can bring up board 3 position on the screen. Board 3, we've got GM Kiryakov, Peter, squaring off against our very experienced FIDE master, Naselungu. Naselungu could play anyone on a good day. I think the last time he represented Zambia at the Olympiads, he took down quite a number of grandmasters, so he's not one to be taken lightly. As we can see, this game also is in the early phases, only about 10 moves played. Players haven't even finished development yet. If we can just, okay, so this game started out as d4. The grandmaster is in white, FM Naselungu is in black, so it was d4, d5, c4, d takes c4. This is the accepted Queen's Gambit. The grandmaster followed up with e4. FM Nasser responded with knight f6, e5, kicking the knight out of f6, knight d5, top engine recommendation. GM Kiryakov took on c4 with the bishop, knight b6 by Nasser, bishop b3, knight c3, knight f3, bishop g4, and then we've seen the grandmaster has just played knight g4, which is very interesting. Let's see what happens if FM Nasser takes the queen Grandmaster takes the queen on d1. Yes, he's taken the queen on d1. Grandmaster takes on f7. Are the players going to repeat? Okay, this looks like the Grandmaster is going for a drawing variations. So the Grandmaster has just taken on f7. This looks like it to be an early draw. We need to look at the tournament situation. I'm sure a draw favors the Grandmaster. That's why he's gone for this repetition. And there it is. According to the rules, the Grandmaster is not supposed to make a move. Here he's supposed to call the arbiter now and claim 3-4. Because if Lungu is not supposed to go king d7, because if he does, then we'll start counting 3-4 again. So let's just see. Seems like we're going to have an early draw. Yes. Let's see. Okay. Thank you. Just want to confirm. We'll be right back. Yes, confirmed. Draw agreed. Confirmed draw agreed on board 3. The Grandmaster went for queen sacrifice, which okay, so there it is, ladies and gentlemen. We've got an early draw on board 3. This is a drawing variation which was forced by the Grandmaster. So that is how it is with these experienced players. When they look at the tournament situation, maybe in terms of where they're going to stand, where they're going to be on the final standing, or if the elo situation favors them, they know these lines where they can just like look for a forcing draw. So this is a very good lesson for young players and even for ambitious players who want to take chess forward. So now we are going to move back to board 1. We haven't looked at board 1 for a while. Okay, so the last time we were here, White's king was on g1. Black hasn't castled yet. We are on move. Okay, move 13. So this looks like it will be a very fierce battle. I am Mwali, locally known as a Copper Eagle, is not one who backs away from fights. Personally, I regard him as one of the most fearless players we have in the country. Very experienced, never backs out from fights, is a real fighter. We can see that he's currently deep in thought. So GM Belasin just went king h2. Okay, so Ayamali has responded with knight d4, fighting for the center. It's encouraged to either control or put our pieces in the center. Engine evaluation shows a very slight advantage for white, 0.5, but only the likes of Grandmaster Kausen can consider such a small advantage to be decisive. So in as far as 2400, 2300, 2400 players are concerned, this advantage of 0.5 can we can consider the match as being fairly balanced. The top engine recommendation here is F4. Maybe white should try and make plans to expand on the queen side, with which probably black may continue with completing development, castling queen side, and maybe probably following up with moves like queen d7, connecting the rooks and all. So we've got quite a game on our hands, and I'm sure this one will go to the wire. We expected to sit this one probably for the next, 3, 4, 5 hours. Let's see. It's all to play for. Jim Belassin just needs a draw to secure the title, but you never know. These guys, probably his ambitions are much more than the title. He's looking at how many elos he can drop if he draws this game, considering that the Copa Eagle is like over 100 elos behind him. But let's see. All the pieces are still on the board. There's been no capture yet. Very, very early phases of the game, but we can see that even if we just on 13 moves, the Copa Eagle has chewed over 30 minutes of his clock. Still thinking, let's see, but could this be maybe some issues with transmission? Because I can see that Mwali has made a move, but his clock is the one that seems to be ticking down. But anyway, we'll confirm and get back. Not so much activity yet on this board, so probably maybe can we move to board 2 and see how things are unfolding. Board 2 is where we have FM Mwale Joseph squaring it with Captain Charlie Wadia Gillan. Again, just to remind the viewers and the listeners out there that a draw or especially a win will guarantee Ayembwalia second position. So Ayembwalia has just castled. Also still fairly balanced. Very few captures have happened. We can see white's queen is developed. It's on d3. So I like Walia's strategy. Sometimes it just it consumes you slowly like a python, where you don't really realize that you are being chewed. It will just be improving his pieces bit by bit, and before you know it, you are gone. So here we can see that he hasn't yet brought out his pieces. Okay, I have just seen a move by white which I cannot really understand, because one of the opening principles we are told that we're not supposed to be moving one piece more than once unless it's really necessary. But we can see that the FM is yet to develop his C8 bishop, but then he moves his queen from d3 to c2. I think this allows Captain Charlie to slowly improve his position. He develops his rook from f8 to e8. This is when FM Wale has played bishop d2. I think at this stage we can see that both players have completed their development. Now they will start planning into the next phase of the game. Rook c8. Okay, now the players seem to be bleeding out their moves. Is this something that they've already like done their strategies, already decided what will be the course of their games? But then the last 2-3 moves were like bleed out, or it's probably the players just showing their mastery of these opening lines that they've sorted for. We'll find out. We're meant to find out how the game unfolds. Not so much confrontation here, and there is no imbalance in the position. Looks very very calm, very even. But sometimes that's where Captain Charlie could be very dangerous. I've seen him squeeze his opponents in like seemingly very calm positions. But also, if Mwale is not one to be taken lightly, he's a very, very experienced FM. He's fought so many battles. Yeah, so we are definitely in for a very interesting duel. Maybe can we move back to board one? We just want to see if there's been any activity that has happened. So the last time we were on this board, let's see, the last time we were on this board, White had played King H2, and the Copper Eagle is still deep in thought. Yeah, the Copper Eagle is still deep in thought, so let's see. Okay, we'll be breaking off shortly from the commentary. We'll resume after a few minutes, but just before we go, we see the Copper Eagle pushing for a storm on the king side. Okay, now this will be very interesting, where FM Mali is trying to directly attack the GM's king side. This will be very, very interesting. The engine though does not like that move. It has slightly increased the advantage for White. But as spectators, I think these are the kind of fights we want to see, and also that it's the humans who are playing and not the engines. The GM does not take too long, quickly lunges in with knight d5. So let's see. We remain to see if at all the Copper Eagle will still continue with plans to try and rip open the king side. It's very interesting. Probably that's why he thought for a long time on his previous move, Mali. He was contemplating whether to go for the opponent's king or whether to castle and play it very safe. We've got an interesting match on our hands, so let's break for a few minutes. We'll be resuming to see how this battle unfolds. Thank you for now.
many minutes until the game finishes? Okay.
You can go on for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, as much as you want. When you feel you're tired, I will bring some.
Okay, okay, thanks.
When they be hearing us from here.
They will be. They will be. Oh no, they won't. They won't. Just make sure. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Just be whispering the
Okay.
right now. And like, if your player comes, you can just notice the name and quiet for a little
Okay,
bit
okay,
until they
all
come
right.
back.
Okay,
And it's just all clear.
okay,
Yeah. So for now, we already have the one board 3 is already done.
okay,
So when you feel like you want to go to a different board, you can say, oh, I want to switch.
okay,
Board
all right.
and you switch
Okay,
and switch.
okay, thanks.
This is board 1 and this is board 2.
Mhm.
Okay. So there is board 1, then you can switch to. So it's not in order, but board 2 is here. Gideon and
Joseph.
Okay.
board 1, board 2. Okay.
Okay.
So if I want to switch, you can let me know.
Okay.
Let me switch to board 2.
Okay. Okay.
Let me silence my phone. So give me just a chance. When you see that I get there, give me like 5 seconds. Then you can start.
Okay, okay, thanks.
This looked like an Italian opening.
You can start by introducing yourself also.
Right.
We can start.
They're not now.
They're not known.
No more.
Why?
Like mentored.
We can start.
Hello, my name is Candidate Master Kennedy Sheng.
Hello, my name is Kenneth Tembo. I'm a professional chess player and the current Vice President of the Chess Federation of Zambia. We are here to comment on the elite section of the Silverest Chess Plaza chess tournament. And the game that we are commenting right now is Board 1, International Master Marich Tumbo versus Belanchen Bileo, Grandmaster. Over to you, Kennedy.
And the game looks equal, but a slight advantage for white. I think Malich Tumbo is taking a lot of time. He's burning time. For the GM has got a lot of time ahead of him.
So far from what I can see, the chess engines actually give the Grandmaster a slight edge, like what Kennedy has said. And this is compounded from the moves so far that have been played. I can see pawn g4, which is quite strong, and the fact that knight is on d5, also quite a strong move because it allows control of the middle game.
What do you think about the pawn on h5 though?
The pawn on h5 is also quite strong, but we'll need to see what use Chitumbo will have with it. It's quite a strong pawn.
But the only defense it has is the rook.
Yes.
And black hasn't castled yet. The king is on the center.
Maybe just a further commentary on the non-castling by black. I think it would have been prudent if he castled earlier, because it allows the rooks to work well if there's a castling. What do you think?
Yes, for sure, but I think maybe he'll go alongside. That's if he wants to burst an attack on the king side.
On the king side?
Yes.
I agree. We are really hoping that this game goes all the way to the wire, because it is a chance for us to also appreciate the presence of grandmasters in this tournament and more exposure to our players. Suffice to mention that I.M. Chitumbo Mari has been one of our best players, and he is up to the task also because of the fact that he has faced the grandmasters on the board. He has beaten 2 grandmasters, if I'm not if my memory serves me right. So while the grandmaster has got a slight edge over him, Chitumbo Mari can still pack a punch. Let's wait and hope for the best for both players.
I see black has got a crowned position because of knight on d5. It's not giving him really good time because all the pieces like the queen can't have a lot of moves to go. After knight d4, if black plays knight d4, I think f4 might be the move for it.
Yes.
f4, so that it opens up for the rook and the bishop, of course. Yeah, let's move to another game. Let's go to Gillian. Oh, Gillian has won. I think it's done.
Let's see what you think about the game. How we move.
FM Mwale Joseph played e4, that's the king's pawn opening. Gillian responded with c6, Caro-Kann, he goes for Caro-Kann, d4, d5, knight c3, d takes e4, knight takes e4, bishop f5, knight g3. The bishop on g6 in this position is very strong. It's stopping the bishop on f1 to come to d3 so that it can offer a trade, because once the bishop comes to d3 it becomes very strong. Knight f3, e6, h4, h6, h5, bishop h7, bishop d3. Yeah, this was what I was talking about. Offers a trade. Knight f6, castles, still equal, rook e1, bishop e7, c3. What do you think about this position?
This position still looks equal. strong on the middle, it still looks equal because black is holding a solid ground, while white is trying to get an early attack. But so far, this position, this was a equal position. What is your comment on that?
I think black delayed on castling.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he delayed on castling, and
Yes.
now the position is a bit cramped. As for white, all
Yes.
the pieces are free.
Yes.
Queen c2, rook e8, bishop d2, rook c8, a4, c5, d takes c5, bishop takes c5, bishop f5, and now black has equalized in this position.
Mm-hmm.
So as you can see, the minor pieces have got space and
Yes,
everything.
yes.
Knight f6, rook d1. Wow, what a move. Knight b5, knight b4. Wow.
What would be the implication if, assuming that white went ahead and takes knight on b4
If c takes b4, bishop takes f2, and the queen is gone.
and the queen is gone?
Yes. So white plays queen c1, and she sees it. Bishop takes f2, brilliant move by Gillian.
No
King
option that
h2,
one.
yeah. Knight d. Oh, this is done. It's over for white.
It was over this position.
Yes, it's over for white. There's no way he can.
He could survive.
Yes, and Gillian won the game after rook c4.
So
White resigned in this position. So I think we can move on to the game on board one. Move on to the game on board one. Oh. I am Chitumbo Mali hasn't yet made the move. Wow. Still burning minutes and minutes just for the next move, trying to get the correct move in this position.
my commentary on the time difference between the Grandmaster Bileo and I.M. Chitumbo Mali is that Chitumbo Mali has to think critically about how he's using also his time, because as we can see, the time difference is almost an hour.
Yeah.
And this becomes evident when
Time pressure.
time pressure now starts creeping in. So this time, if it's not managed very well, it will prove to be a disadvantage at some point at the end for the IM.
And you start playing very fast, and probably mistakes are made in those times.
Yes. I think that's all for now. I've commented. I need to go. So he's just walking around.
That's why I said James. It's not easy to get James. Oh, bishop takes d5, which gives more advantage to the GM
Because
the pawn on d5 is going to be very strong.
yes, and it will also make the black's knight on c6 to move, and the movement there, the best movement that could be done would be a retreat, so that there is a regrouping of some sort by black's knight on
Ish, this is bad.
yes.
Yeah.
You can call us again. Okay, it can remain.
Right.
Can remain.
Okay.
Thanks.
Hello everyone, this is Jigyashu. I'm here on Mr. Alien Minds stream. We're talking about the games in the elite section of the Silverest Open, as you have been seeing. With me, of course, I have Kennedy Sheen, one of the top juniors of our country. Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about chess as much as Mr. Kennedy here knows, but let's see. I can maybe learn something from him while he tells me about this game. So, what do you think, Kennedy? What are some moves that seems like it's now Grandmaster Bilal's time to play? What do you think? What are some moves he could be considering in this game? This position?
I think in this position, Black's position is a bit cramped, so you try to force more pieces, trying to get the weak squares in this position for Black. And I think C4 is okay, and D4 is also okay. C4 protecting the pawn on D5. D4 is opening up the position and trying to open up the E file, and trying to activate the knight on E2 as well.
Yes, I think
After
yes.
D4, E takes D4, knight takes D4. If the bishop takes, queen takes, and white's position is clearly better, because the rook will come take over the E file, and the queen is active. The bishop has got a lot of squares. The pawn on D5 especially, cramping Black's position.
And that can be especially dangerous for Mr. Chitumbo playing as Black here, especially because his king is still in the center. This is move 13 now. Usually we see that people castle early in the opening, isn't it? But I'm sure he must have had some plans doing that. So
I think him moving the H pawn made it hard for him to castle early. And he sees it, D4.
Yes, Mr. Grandmaster Bilal has played D4, just like Kennedy had mentioned. So he's obviously now he's attacking the bishop and trying to make some tension on E4 and the E file, trying to get the E file to open up, weaken that file, so that we can go for the obvious attacks on the king, isn't it? Yeah.
And if Black takes, it's going to be bad for Black, because the Grandmaster won't leave the weak squares alone in this position.
Yeah, I mean, you've been talking about weak squares. Actually, which ones would you say are the weak squares here for Black?
I think the G5, if the bishop comes on G5, it's really going to put tension in Black's position. For example, if E takes D4, knight takes D4, bishop takes D4, queen takes D4, then let's say he castles, or queen D7, the bishop will come trying to put more pressure on the F6 knight, the rook will come trying to put more pressure on this same diagonal, the D8 H4 diagonal.
Yeah, we'll see many different things there. We'll see pin and we'll see an attack on the knight, and this can turn out to be really chaotic in this position. Let's see what Mr. Chitumbo might end up going for.
Yes. And I think for only 14 moves, burning almost an hour of time is really going to be hard for the IM to survive in the endgame.
Yeah, I agree, yes. At this point, the engine here seems to be suggesting that instead of taking the pawn, which might seem like an obvious move for many of us, like
club players and experts.
For me, if I was to look at it, I mean, of course, I would look at taking the pawn, but yeah, the engine suggests it's bishop a7.
So after bishop a7, d takes e5, then d takes e5, then c4 might come, then ideas of knight c3, bishop g5, then rook e1 maybe, or f4.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Oh no.
Oh no. This is really bad. Like I said, the knight on f6 is going to be very weak. And so black has to move the knight to x7 for it to be okay, trying to prevent the bishop to come on g5.
I see that, yes. What do you think the thinking from Mr. Chitum might have been for him to have taken that pawn?
I think he has got ideas of knight g6, then knight e5, then or queen d7, then castles alongside so that he can try to attack the king side easily. Maybe because like I said.
Well, we have Mr. Predictor here. he's getting the moves right.
And that move also prevents or attacks the pawn on d5, because if the queen was on d8, if knight takes d5, bishop takes d5, knight takes d5, then there was knight f5 attacking the pawn and the knight at the same time, which was really bad for black. But as at now, it's okay. So white has to protect the pawn at all cost.
Yes, that pawn seems like it can be a bit dangerous. In the end game, it can be one of the things that white can bank on in converting the game, isn't it? Because it's already heading into the opponent territory. It's eventually it might become a pass pawn if certain things happen.
Oh, recommendation of bishop g5 is also there. c4 or a3. So after bishop g5, I see if an exchange is made on d4, there's rook e1 preventing the king from castling. And the pawn on h4 is probably a goner because it's only protected by the rook. And a piece protected by a pawn protected by a major piece is weak. It's considered as a weak pawn because a major piece is a dangerous piece, and that's what everyone is hoping to get in that position.
It can be, yes, I get what Mr. Kennedy means by that. It's all about the values of the pieces, isn't it? It's like the rook now gets a little bit tied down to protecting that pawn instead of it being able to involve itself in the game and defend or attack for black.
So after
black has gone for long castling, just as Mr. Kennedy said. That was after c4 was played.
The grandmaster is seeing moves really fast.
Yeah. That's actually one of the things that we've been noticing in this event. Me having the opportunity to be here and part of the organizing committee, it's one of the perks, I get to see the games. So it's been a trend we've been noticing. The grandmaster usually plays and he likes to walk around, and I think that's the time he does his thinking, preparing for the next move. It seems like he analyzes quickly. I think that's what makes him a grandmaster.
Yeah. So it only takes technique. Okay. So it's only about technique. Because the knight on f6 is totally weak in this position. Because the only squares it can go to is back, and if a piece is moving back, it needs to have a motive of what it's going to do. It needs to have a motive. Let's say if I take my knight back, I'm aiming to come on this square in maybe 2 or 3 moves. But in this position, the knight on f6 is weak.
Yeah, and that's especially something we see with the pieces of knights in the game of chess, right? Because they have such a unique way of moving where they try to go back, and they might deceive you, some might say. Yeah, and
you're thinking it's just going back for my opponent doesn't have anything to do, but Oh, knight g6. Trying to activate the knight from e7, g6, then e5, hoping to sacrifice on g4. I think that's what the IM is thinking, because after knight e5, if there's a sacrifice made, the pawn on h4 will be really good in that position.
Yes, it turns into a passed pawn, isn't it?
Yes. But I think f3 solves everything.
F3 is
F3
pretty...
solves everything, only blocks the bishop on g2, but that's still okay because black has invested a lot of pieces on the attack, while white is only having the bishop on g2, which is stuck, and other pawns are doing a great job on f3, g4, and h3. King h2 is okay. The gem can bring the king on h1, which is also fine. Yes. The gem just has to take advantage of the knight on f6. So gem below is thinking. Despite white's position being opened up like this, the engine is actually giving white an advantage in this position. Wow.
Yes.
b4. Really good from the gem. That's a great move in this position.
It's forcing the bishop to not...
To retreat.
Yeah.
Because after bishop takes knight, queen takes, then it's over. Because the bishop will come on d3, pawn will move on b4, and the rook will take on, so like the king won't have anywhere to go. The rook will take on the e file, which will make it hard for the queen to go anywhere at all.
So it seems like the game still has pretty much similar ideas from a few moves ago. We still have the open e file that white would have wanted, and also the bishop g5 is still something that white can play if that's is still in the cards, because that now pins the knight to the rook, to a piece of higher value, isn't it?
So I think the bishop on g2 is doing a job of defending in the king side. So black has no pawn storm. The pawns on f2 or f7 and g7. If they were moved earlier, black would have had a great attack.
Maybe before the knight came and jammed the pawns there. You think?
I think knight h7, like as the engine recommended. Knight h7, this knight on f6 to come on h7, then maybe f5.
Yeah, that could have been something that could have been done in a few moves ago. But now the major threat for us...
We have a pressure on the queen side.
Yeah, and that bishop needs to move. So there's three options for the bishop here in terms of moves. I mean, there's four legal moves, but there's no way we can consider bishop takes b4.
Maybe he might be thinking bishop takes g4, rook takes, then c5.
No, there's no way we can expect that from our national champion. So I think that leaves only bishop b6 and bishop e7 as the possible moves for the
And bishop takes d4.
Yeah. So which one do you think is the best one here out of the three possible moves?
I think bishop b6 is inaccurate because of a4, then a5. As simple as that. Then it will have to move again. So bishop a7, or maybe bishop takes d4. But bishop a7 is the best. trying to put more pieces on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
The pawn storm on the queen side is really harsh for IM Chtumbo Mali.
Yeah.
If you see it from this view, if you try to flip the board, you put black down, it's looking bad. So IM Chtumbo Mali is in the last 30 minutes of his time.
Mm-hmm.
Still burning time. Wow. The GM is putting up really strong moves.
You know, after we get away with the bishop and is defended, what do you think if of black taking the e file with the rook, maybe with the rook on d8, because currently it's completely open, it's not occupied by anyone? Do you think that's one of the things that could be in the mind, or something that can be considered as a move to play?
So like after bishop?
Yeah, after the bishop moves
Bishop
away,
S7?
of course. Yes.
Oh, white won't stop. The GM won't stop attacking. The GM won't stop attacking because there's b5. There's b5, there's a4. So bishop a7, then a4. Trying to push a5, then b5. Because if immediate b5 is pushed, a5 is going to be pushed, then b6 seals everything in that position. Only if a sacrifice is made amongst one of the pawns.
Yes.
But the rook d to e8 really doesn't apply pressure because none of white's pieces wants to go on the e file. Like, it's completely useless in this position. Bishop b6 ish.
Yeah.
What?
I think this it might be easy for us to see these moves here, but as we
Yes,
both know, it's
on the board there's
on
really
the board
hard
it's
pressure.
a completely different situation, especially if we're playing against strong players. I mean, it's my mind goes blank even if I'm playing a 1900 and Mr. Our IM here is going against a 2489.
Really going into 2500 soon. I think after this tournament,
the GM might end up being 2500. Yes.
So knight to f5. As for me in this position, I would push a4, trying to put more pressure. But a4, I think the response is clear. a5, trying to block or disband the pawns.
Okay, I think that is it from us for now for the commentary. Hopefully we'll see you again, the audience, on another occasion. Goodbye for now.
Alright, thank you.
Hello, good morning. This is your commentator, Lonyeka Brian, popularly known from chess circles as the Renegade, because of the tactical prowess on the board when it comes to social chess. Nothing to be taken seriously. So we still on in round 9. Most of the games in the last round have already been wrapped up. I know players are tired, so there were some quick draws in some instances. Yeah, so we've got 3 battles that are still going on. Of course, our particular focus is on board 1, where we've got our very own international master Chitumbo Mwali, also known as the Copper Eagle. Is one of the bravest chess players I know. I like his fighting spirit. He never backs away from a fight. He's taking on Algeria's Grandmaster Belassin Bileo, who's the current reigning African champion. Computer evaluation shows that Mwali has got a slight advantage, but not a decisive one. So we've seen Grandmaster Bileo has just pushed f4. Ooh, and look at the EBA's response to this move. It surely does not like it. Of course, that's what distinguishes humans from machines. It's easy, most of us in the commentary box, and also just following. If you are using engine evaluations, it's very easy to critique why players would not take or rather play top engine recommendations.
Yeah, the option for 2 boards now. This one and one for Dante.
I'll be showing. Yeah, so yes, so most of us, when we're watching with the evolution of engines, most of us, when we're following games, we tend to follow. We tend to follow the top engine evaluations, but the reality is different when you're the one in the ring. When you're the one in the ring, the reality is different. So we can see that the Grandmaster just played f4. Wait a minute. We are all wondering why he did not take the queen on h5. Just want to see how Mwali would have responded to this. Or okay, he would have taken on d4. I am joined in the commentary booth by my young man Nkandu Chileshe, very ambitious chess player. Nkandu, your comments and thoughts on this position before we look at the other one where we have I am Dante taking on I am Simpson. Your thoughts on this position?
Okay, to start with, thank you for coming me. I'm delighted to have this rare privilege to help you in analyzing these games. So this is the position we have, and who is it to play? It's white to play in this position.
Yes. No, sorry. In fact, what is showing now, it's black to play. I think this should be, we should have an error, transmission error. Let's see, there should be a transmission error on this board. Okay, no, there is no transmission error. So white has just played f4, so it's black's turn to play. Before this, the position was like this. Mwali took on h5 with his rook. The top engine recommendation was for the Grandmaster to take the rook with his queen on h5. He did not, instead opted for f4. I don't know whether he did not want to leave the knight on d4.
Okay.
he did not want to leave the knight on. He did not want to leave the knight on d4, so he played f4. The engine, of course, did not like this variation. It saw the advantage. It did not like this move. It's the EVA bar is now showing that the advantage for the GM has reduced from 1.6 to just like
Nearly
an opposition.
draw,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So please take it up.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you think? Should the Copper Eagle retreat his rook from h5? Should he take on d4 with the bishop? Your thoughts on this position? If you are the one who was on the ring, what would you do? Or probably would you also want to look at a few engine lines?
To my suggestion, looking at the position, retreating the rook seems to be the good move. Why do I say so? Let's say the let's say the position. If Mwali decides to capture the knight, for instance, white should try to capture the rook now. So if white captures the black rook, it's more like the h pawn is hanging, of which it will create a solid passed pawn, because now it will be just one pawn at the h file.
Okay, yeah. But
Yes.
but then I don't think it's a good idea for white to eventually take the h pawn after taking the rook. Yeah, because we learn from theory that you're not supposed to be opening lines against your own king. It may leave the white king a little bit weak. So maybe it's a good idea to take the rook, but following it up with a capture on h4, I think I would have to think twice on that one, because of the fact that black still has one rook on the board and the queen is still on the board. So just picture a situation where you take the rook, right?
Yes.
You take the rook on h5, then black manages to put their knight on h6. Then you push your rook to h8. Look at how vulnerable white's king can be.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Mali is still contemplating. Okay, has he taken? Okay, let's see. Oh, so he took on c4, right?
He took on c4.
And then the grandmaster has taken on h5. Then followed up with a bishop capture on d4.
Now that the knight is far away from the g6 square, now it's okay to take the pawn.
On h5. Yeah, I know.
Yes.
I think even the engine agrees with you. So probably we can ask that we also take a look at the board where we have I am Mali. I am Dante and I am Simpson. If we can move to board 6, please. So this is a duo between the two IMs. You know that what's good about our colleagues is these guys even travel together. They are staying in the same hotel room, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but what I like about principled guys is even if they've traveled together, they can smile, they can eat together, but when it comes to business on the board, they put that aside.
Put that aside.
Yeah. It's better one is beaten, then you go and pick up the lessons from there, right?
True.
And like most of our colleagues here, when they've traveled together like this, this game would have been decided off the board, right? But our guys have got goals, they've got ambitions, they want to push, they came to play for something. It may not necessarily be about money, sometimes it may be about their ambitions. They've got how many number of games they want to play in a year. So now if you start agreeing and deciding results in the room or before you sit on the board, then definitely if this was a 9-round tournament, then of course that means that game is not played. So
True.
Our friends are very principled. They'll fight it on the board, and afterwards they'll sit down, they'll laugh about it, they'll pick the lessons. It's the same thing that we can learn from these young prodigies from Asia, like the Indian trio of Gukesh, Pragnananda, Arjun. You'll find sometimes they're even in the same training camps. They'll have meals together. They'll laugh. They'll joke, everything. But when they sit on the board, there is no friendship.
There's no friendship.
There is no friendship. They fight. Friendship is only restored when the game is done. So please, I'm appealing to young players in the country, or those who are aspiring to be strong players. Please do not be afraid to go home empty-handed. Even if you lose the last round, it may pain sometimes, but that is how you learn, right? So please, your thoughts on this position.
Okay, so this is live. It's now white to play.
Yes, it's white to play. We can see that which of these two kings is safe. I think, okay, the material is about equal, right?
Yes,
No, there's an imbalance in the position. We can see that, okay, if white captures on b7, black will be an exchange down, right?
Yes.
But we just have one pawn as compensation. So there's a reasonable imbalance in the position. Yes. So Dante has captured on b7. Okay, I like this engine evaluation. That's the main difference. That's the reason why we're not. Okay, so the top engine suggestion is knight c4. What do you think of knight c4?
Looking at the black bishop, the black bishop black has, it's a dark squared bishop, and specifically the position of the king, it's a bit restricted. So let's assume black plays knight c4. I'm trying to look at what's white's follow-up, because of course the black king is much safer here, more especially that it's in the dark squared.
And it's protected by the dark square bishop, and also the queen in the dark squares. Okay, so of course taking on b7 is out of the question.
No, it's out of the
considering
question.
that black is got less material, right?
Yes.
Oh, so maybe knight c4 followed by what? d6?
Push pawn, yes, it will be d6, and now maybe bishop c5 check. We can try that. It will depend.
But what would be the follow-up with the check?
We just want to leave the pawn on d7.
Oh, you want to advance the pawn?
Yes.
d7.
d2. Sorry, d2.
Oh, you're trying to increase the strength of the pawn.
Yes.
Okay.
Because now if we push d6, we're leaving a space to give check at least. So which means it's a move for white to play, and I don't think it's a good move if white goes a move like f1. I don't think that's a good move.
You mean rook f1?
No, king f1 after. When the bishop gives a check on c5, black has a limited square, so I don't think it's a good move.
It will be forced, I think.
Yes, it will be forced.
No, sorry, it's not forced. There's also the option of king g3.
King g3. King g3 can follow up with a move like queen d6.
Then you go king h3.
King h3. Looking at the queen square.
Considering that black doesn't have a light square bishop, so I think the king will still be safe on h3. Later on, you can push g4, and then once the dust settles, you can now try and mobilize your queen, rook, and your bishop to go for black's king.
Actually, after king g3, since the knight by then we're analyzing that it will be on c4. So we might try to attack the queen with moves like knight e5, adding pressure to the king side, because when the knight is on e5, we're already blocking the g4 and g3 square.
But knight
e5?
Knight e5 is not protected. There's a rook on e1, so you need a couple of moves.
Oh no, I mean by then the king will be on g what? The king will be on g3. So let's say knight e5, the rook takes. If we pin the rook with the bishop, they can't give a check.
Okay.
Then we have a strong pass pawn, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so there's still a lot to play for in this position, right?
There's still a lot.
It's not lost, but given a choice here, Kandu, if you were to choose a side here and they say once you win, you get sponsorship to any local tournament of your choice, which side can you take here? Forget about the EVA, forget about the engine evaluation. Which side would you take?
I would go for white in this position.
Okay.
Yes.
Why? Because of the material advantage. Is it because of the position of the black king, or what are the elements that would you prefer the white pieces in this position?
If I look at the pawn structure, I'm just assuming I'm already an exchange up. So if we look at the pawn structure which black has, there's no much of they're not connected pawns, because I'm just assuming all the pieces are off the board. Probably there'll be a move like a3, a3, hoping that there'll be b4, depending on what black plays, because I don't want the center pawn to be connected by a move like c5.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so whilst we were analyzing, black did not go knight c4, instead opted for bishop c8. Okay, so there was bishop c8. What bishop c8? What was white's? White is still contemplating, right?
Yes. Oh, white didn't capture the bishop.
No, sorry. No. Just a minute. What happened here? No, of course white captured the bishop. What's wrong with this transmission? Okay, no, it's like we went into analyzing mode.
Okay.
Yeah, so we back to the live board. White is still contemplating whether to take on b7 or not. But for those of us who are not, even before looking at the top engine recommendation, those of us who are not at the strength of I am like these guys, will just follow the basic rule that, hey guys, I'm up in material, so exchange. No, besides that, that's just a recapture, right? So I don't know why Dante is bending the clock on this move.
Because it's not like he has much of an option.
Exactly. Okay. So maybe what Dante is still contemplating, can we just go back to board 1 to see if there's been progress from the last time we were looking at the board, because there's so much going on in this game. Oh, okay, interesting. See, the Copper Eagle is putting up a good fight.
He's putting up a good
definitely
fight.
Cannot go down without a fight. He's a fighter, this one.
We just hope he doesn't get under time pressure.
He's already under immense time pressure.
He's already under.
We can see that he's slowly getting down to under 5 minutes. The Grandmaster's got over an hour. And sometimes most times, especially when it gets to get to these levels, proves to be a very decisive factor.
True.
I have seen Dante get off the board, so can we just quickly check Dante's position to see if he's captured? Then we'll come back to this intense battle on board 1. Just a quick check on Dante's board. Yes, he's taken. He's finally captured on b7. He's taking a straw, leaving Simpson contemplating his options. Okay. I'm sure we analyzed a lot of variations in this position, right?
Yes, we did in this position.
So maybe we may want to dwell a little bit more on board 1. Back to board 1, please, between the IM and the GM.
Grandmaster.
Yeah. Okay. The position looks fairly balanced. fairly balanced. The Copaigo is trying to hold his own. Yeah, but sometimes these experienced players, you never know. If you look at Carlsen's game, you will find that it may be fairly balanced, but then when you get to the end game, some players, that's when they show their real strength. Your thoughts on the position?
Actually, allow me to take back the position a bit because I'm surprised how the
How
H
got
pawn
into
is
this.
still alive.
Okay. Yeah,
So
maybe you can.
at this position, it was here after rook takes. I think we left it here. So I'm wondering, did our grandmaster miss queen x h4?
Let's see what option did he go. This was no, sorry. So no, he did not take on. He retreated his queen to e2.
Because of b5.
Did the Copaigo go b5? No, he actually
he
went
didn't
queen
win.
b5.
Okay. See. So this is how come the pawn is becoming a problem, I guess, in the recent position.
Yeah.
I see.
Oh, yeah, you cannot take because of. Okay.
Oh, this is the current position.
This is the current position, yes. We have king on g2, bishop on f2, white queen on e4.
So we might have things like, looking at black side first, we might have things like rook e8, adding pressure down.
Yes.
Then next
yes,
the bishop can come to g3. I think it would be a bit pressure for white, knowing that the rook can jump later to e2 check because of the queen holding that diagonal. I feel white's bishop right now is a bit not active in the game.
Yeah. The bishop needs to be activated. Yeah, this
It's
position
causing the
needs to be
rooks
improved.
not to be connected, because if there's a possibility bishop is improved, the rook on b can later come to c1. That's if the bishop moves to a position where it's protecting the b pawn. Okay, but does it have any good square it can go to? Because I feel right now this rook shouldn't be disturbed one on d because of black having a knight and the bishop, a knight and the queen attacking the d pawn. So this rook on the d at the moment becomes very weak. But then I don't think white can hold the e pawn much because of the rook. The move we just said, rook e8.
Okay.
Rook e8. Black.
Rook e8. Where do you take your queen?
The queen only has one square which I feel would defend. That's queen f3.
Okay. So bishop g3 is on the board. Then white goes
exactly
rook b2. Okay, yeah. So we understand the point of b2, right?
Yes.
Trying to defend. Okay. Come and replace me. Okay. Thank you so much. I'm stepping out. Joshua Chewe will continue the commentary with Nkando Chideshe. Thank you so much. I'll join later. Please enjoy the commentary by Joshua and Nkando. Can you put the position? Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, no, you're welcome. Okay, I'm sure we were introduced. There's a new commentator who's joined me, goes by the name of Joshua Chewe. So we'll still go back to the game on board 1. I am Chitumbo. This is GM Bilens. Okay, so this was the position we're talking about. Okay, you're just from joining, but with the other commentator we've been discussing this position, so maybe you try to look at the position and just say what you think in this position. This is the current one.
Let's go back a few moves so that I can see how we got to this position. Let me do a quick overview.
This is the current one.
This is the current position.
Yes, this is the current position. So we're analyzing how weak the d pawn is, looking at the knight, and how this white bishop is not much of value, because there were moves like queen e2. So the rook, I like white's rook lift. It shows that he really understands the position. The position was like this, sorry, just here, this was the position. So we're saying before the bishop is even moved there, this was the position. So we're thinking there were moves like this, rook e8, threatening the queen, also trying to give a check. Then later now you give up that move, but then
rook e8 secures the e2 square.
Yes, but then I think we don't know. We can't say he played the wrong move, but we can say it's an inaccuracy, because now black can play
the bishop.
Yes, rook.
Bishop
lift now
was too slow, because then the rook came in.
Yes, the rook came in already,
and
even though the knight came there, but still the rook is defending the square already for a check.
I think white has quite a number of weaknesses, and his overextension on the king side has limited the scope of his dark square bishop.
True. Now did you play rook e8? Let's see what black played there. I think that was supposed to be the first move, because now it even allows an queen exchange, of which I don't see it very much beneficial to white, because once you trade queens, it will be a fair game. Okay.
So he avoided the exchange. And the knight is anchored on a4.
On the wrong square.
Knights on the rim are dim, but this one seems to be doing a good job controlling the b2 square. Because if white manages to get in rook b2, and a line on the b file, white will have very good chances of handing the black queen.
Okay.
IM Chitumbo is down to 3 minutes.
That could also
While
be.
GM still has full hour on the clock.
So should we say some of these inaccuracies, like a move calculation, instead of rook e8 first, he came in with the bishop on g3. Should we say it's under time pressure? He couldn't really find it in a panic mode. Do you feel so?
Yeah, time really gets to players, and this position seems to be very complicated, and I don't think he has enough time to calculate all these complications.
Because now, if you look at the position where the queen is, the f pawn is also hanging. If you can see the position, I feel the f pawn is hanging.
Yes, the f pawn is underprotected.
But looking at where the bishop is it something that black would want to do here? I don't think black would get a strong bishop to trade it for just a pawn, because the bishop, we said it's on c1 is doing nothing. So
The bishop on c1 has no scope.
so we can't trade our puff bishop, I feel.
No. Black's dark square bishop is very strong, but I think next move white can claim the e file, and black wouldn't have nothing to show for. So rough estimation, the position might be equal, because if white plays e4, black will have no choice but exchange the rooks and give away the e file. They maybe hopefully hope to start pushing his pawns on the queen side, because black cannot push on the king side.
Sure, I feel so too.
Yeah, so the position might be equal. Rough estimation, the position is equal, because both white and black can't really push for anything.
Okay. Okay. There's a new commentator joining in, so I might have to be quiet for a while and leave it over for him to take it up from here. Okay. No, thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Daniel. I'm the new commentator who's just joined in.
What would you say about the current position?
So the position looks like black has sort of a good attack going on, but it still looks solid for white. So I'd say it looks quite equal.
In as much as black exchanged the sacrifice, black has quite the attack.
Yes.
White controls. I wouldn't really say white controls more space. I would state white has overextended, but black has some good initiatives going on.
Yeah, black has some good initiatives going on, as you can see from the position of the queen, where the bishop is. The bishop is kind of like holding on to some squares that the king can move to. So we'd say black has a good game going on, in as much as he's down a piece. Yeah.
Would you say black's time will affect his game? Because black is very low on time with only 3 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, time might be a huge factor in this game, because if you look at the position requires one to think, but then since he's a bit low on time, it might play a huge factor in this game. Yeah. So I feel like, but since it's incremental, he still stands a chance, because if you can make maybe 3 or 4 accurate moves without wasting any time, he might be able to gain back some time.
Yeah, that's a good part of increment. GMB Leo has not found rook e2, which we suggested. Instead, he plays bishop e3. Maybe he does not want to settle for a draw. He wants to push more and continue to press black, so that black can panic under time pressure.
But then why has black gone for the queen exchange?
And black misses it.
He misses it because I thought
bishop b2 secures a good advantage, a good drawn advantage for black.
Knight b2, you mean?
Knight b2, sorry.
Yes, it secures a good advantage because
forking the queen and the rook.
It will be a fork on the queen and the rook.
Instead, GM Chitumbo goes for queen e4, and this gives white instant advantage.
Instant advantage because since he's up a piece, and then now that was sort of like a zero move. He had to take back the rook again.
Yeah, now things are very bad for the IM. He's missed a very good opportunity to secure himself a draw.
Because even if the engine here is saying rook d2.
The engine
d2.
requires rook d2, then maybe
then-
eventually rook e2 and win the e file. Because whatever black plays after this, rook e2 is next.
Yes,
Then move
yes,
the
yes.
bishop.
But then you can also look at the option to go rook to c4.
Rook c4.
Oh, it's a blunder.
It's a blunder.
It's a blunder.
Rook c4 blunders to rook b, knight b2.
Knight b2. Yeah.
Storm was really succumbed to time pressure.
Time pressure. Yes, I'm pretty sure that was.
He was so
even
close to securing a draw.
or even possibly go for a win.
Yeah, but with the current condition, the time is not on his favor.
The time is not
on his side.
Yeah. So, what other options do you think White has in this position?
White can start pushing the king side. f5 is a possibility because
f5 could be a good
f5,
move.
then the rook.
Then maybe try to trade off the bishops. Is that working?
Yeah, trading off the bishops. No, it's not working because he captures.
He captures, yeah.
Maybe push, and then he can close, and maybe just I don't know. f5 they don't secure anything. f5 is a huge mistake for White.
White's now really going to take his time, eh?
Yeah, White knows he's got advantage.
He's got
With the
advantage in
queens off
time.
the board. He's got more space, he's got piece advantage. So let's just see what he plans on doing. The instant e4, e2 doesn't work. This knight is very dangerous on the a4. White has to move his d1 rook and maybe push in rook e2.
Yeah, that's
the only thing
that's
White has
the
to
only
fight
thing
for.
that makes sense.
Fight for the e file,
Mm.
and White will be okay.
And if he's able to trade off the rooks, even better. If he's able to trade off if the black rook can leave the board, even better. Then it will be an almost guaranteed win for White.
For White. White really taking his time. Just a few moves back, I don't understand why Chitumbo did not go for knight b2.
He did not go for
Because
knight
this
b2.
was so obvious.
Maybe the same check, yeah.
This looks so obvious, but maybe he didn't want queen f5 check, king b8.
Yeah, he
then
was ending.
rook
He was losing the pawn
on f7.
on f7. Yes.
But how bad was it? No, he
It
can't
was-
touch the pawn on f7 because of the bishop on e3. So maybe exchange of the rooks.
Wait, let me see. What do you mean the bishop on f3?
maybe this was the biggest problem. Then pawn push.
So wait, let me see what happens if he touches the pawn and just a few moves back, or something like this, right? So if he was to threaten the queen, queen goes back, and then
He can't capture the pawn because of the bishop. The bishop drops, and black is clearly winning.
black is clearly winning. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's why he went for the
Very complicated position. Black does not have enough time to calculate all the paths out of this.
how is in this same position. How is bishop to d4 also looking for white?
Bishop d4.
Ideas of bishop to d4. Let's say
Bishop d4, pawn g6, and maybe bishop f6. Chases the rook out of the e file. Rook d6, rook d7,
and then maybe rook to no, that's a blunder
there's a blunder.
because the bishop takes.
The bishop takes.
But how about rook to d2?
Yeah, rook d2.
Then take control of the open file and then maybe try something.
Yeah, this can work. And black's only hope is on the queen side. He's got pawn majority on the queen side.
He has a lot of pawn majority on the queen side, yes.
But again, I don't see how the black bishop is going to come back into the game. It's limited on g3.
Yeah, it's very limited, especially when white also takes control of the
e file.
Of the e file, yes. He's really going to be very limited. There is not much that can be done. Black really doesn't want to make a mistake and is taking his time on this move. White, I mean, is taking his time on this move.
Intense game.
And this being the final round, if you look at how the standings are, you can see that Gillian is the one leading the pack, and the GM really needs this win if he is going to walk away with the gold medal.
Gillian has secured 7.5.
He secured 7.5, and he secured himself a gold or a silver medal. But for the GM, for the IM,
this is a decisive game.
This is a very decisive game.
White goes through, white secures gold medal.
Yeah.
And Gillian gets silver.
But for the IM, he really needs a win as well for him to secure any medal, if he is to secure any medal.
So a draw for white. We'll have tie breaks between Gillian and Bileo.
Yeah, it will be the tie breaks that will determine who's going to carry the day.
I see. White is in a must-win situation for first place.
White is in a must-win situation for first place, and black is also in a must-win situation for at least silver or bronze.
Looks like the game's continued.
Yeah.
He don't go for bishop. He never for rook d2.
Yeah, I think I would agree with him because I saw bishop d4 as the more aggressive option.
And he misses it.
And loses a pawn. I'm pretty sure it's because of the time pressure. Just like you stated earlier.
Bishop d4 g6 was the way to go for black.
Yes.
Instead, he pushes b5,
Losing the pawn.
losing a full pawn. Now white is very comfortable. White is very comfortable. Just push
Now you
those
can see
pawns,
how fast
create a
black is
fast
trying
pawn.
to play. Just to... Has he resigned?
White secures a pass pawn on the king side.
On the king side. On the queen side.
And the king can't go any further. Once the king touches the e file, the pawn on c7 drops, and white completely dominates. Tough luck for IM Chitumbo Mali.
Yeah, so
Strong start, but due to time pressure, he succumbed to the pressure.
I'm pretty sure we're just seconds away from confirming that the GM has visited us and he's carried the day.
He came to set dominance.
We came to set dominance, him being a grandmaster. We wouldn't have expected anything less.
No, but the Zambian IMs have held their own.
Yeah.
I never expected them to perform this well against
the
two
grandmasters.
grandmasters. I expected both gold and silver to be occupied, but hey, one of the Zambian IMs has managed to secure silver. Which
Yeah,
is really
he's
impressive.
managed to secure a silver for himself.
Looks like moves have been made.
So
Let's get back to the game and see what's happened. Has IM resigned?
So
Or does
black
he want to continue to?
white brought back his king, sorry. Then there was a pawn exchange. Black was able to gain a pawn. Pretty sure that's why he went for the check. There was a pawn exchange on g6. He's gained back a pawn. He's gained a free pawn.
Round 9 final.
Then if you look at it, yeah, I'm thinking the check on g5 really works well for white. Then
Yeah, the rook sacrifice was really worth it, because black cannot take c1. White will instantly promote to a queen.
yeah, white will instantly promote the queen.
g7, g8.
So he chose to take out the pawns.
Very dangerous.
Then I feel like white going for the check on g5 with the bishop, and anything played by black will result into the c pawn being taken.
Yeah, the c2, the c7 backward pawn is gone. Black cannot defend
Black cannot defend that one.
the c7 pawn. But don't you think rook c7, rook takes a2 somehow might hold for black?
Yeah, that's why, since it's white's move, that's why I feel going for the check first is the best thing. And then if the check comes in, you can easily block it with the rook on c2. So if white goes for...
But are these two connected pass pawns
white has
a
gone for
potential?
g5 check.
GM finds the best move.
Then white can go for the take on c2, and then if the check comes in, I feel it's best to just block it. Moves have been made. Yeah, GM goes for the take. Because even after the check on,
I am still really on the ropes this time.
he's really on the ropes, yeah.
One inaccuracy, and he sells away his draw.
He sells away his draw. And now he's just under 2 minutes. So time will really be a stress for him.
Time really hasn't been on his side this game.
And if you look at it, there's a mate in a few moves. If he doesn't play knight to f4 or rook takes a2, they may just be a mate.
Yeah, the black king is getting checkmated very soon, and he finds it.
And he finds the best move in the position, forcing the exchange. And this exchange kind of brings back the bishop into the game. This might be good for black.
Yeah, now the bishop indirectly protects the d6 square, the
d6 pawn as well, and the king also has an escape out. But the biggest pressure here will be time, because I feel like he now has a chance in the game. In that this is a very decisive game, the stakes are high.
Everything is on the line.
Everything is on the line here. There's nothing to lose. So everyone is bringing their A game. He just has under 2 minutes to make a move, to make the next move. I'm pretty sure if he's able to, he can use the opponent's time to calculate. But then after the bishop exchange and the knight exchange, don't you feel rook to e1 check?
Rook to e1
it can
check
easily be waved off by
bishop e4.
By bishop to
e5.
e4. And then we get back to the same position where white is losing a pawn.
I think the best continuation. One of the best continuation. Oh no, this is bad.
No. He needs to move the rook.
He needs to move the rook.
I feel like rook.
What about rook f1? What happens after take? Climb up the board.
So the go for black here is to. The go for white is to try and get some exchanges, and maybe.
If white can, another way is if white can bring both his rooks on the 7th rank.
Yeah, that's.
White will be doing very well.
White will be doing very well. White is not going to rush anything here. So white has gone for the bishop take, and then the bishops have been exchanged. Now I feel white should take his time here, because he might make a continuation that's not right. So white also has something on c6, with the rook on c6.
Yeah, c6, and maybe. But what's the whole idea behind c6?
So let's say if he takes, it's just to close down the position for black, and then try to bring in your king nearer to his king.
Yeah, because if these rooks can find space on the 7th rank with the same pigs on the rooks on the 7 are pigs, they might just gobble up everything.
So white has gone for rook to c2. What's your take on that?
Rook to c2.
Yeah, white has gone for
Protecting
rook to
the
c2.
A2
Protecting
pawn.
the a2 pawn. She's not willing to lose any more pawns. Just not willing to lose any more pawns. Black now just has under a minute to make a move. It's slowly, the clock is slowly ticking down, and we just have 30 seconds now. Is he going to let his clock run down? And the clock has just run down.
Is that due to network?
I'm not sure if it's the connection or they just haven't noticed.
The GM seemed to be playing, so I think he made the move.
So we're not really sure what's happening here. We're not sure if it's network or the clock has run down, but they haven't noticed.
The players seem to be still focused on the board. I think technical issues.
There should be some technical issues that we are facing.
So the players seem to be playing, but it looks like we're having some technical issues here. So I have been Daniel, your co-commentator, and seems we're having some network issues, so we'll be leaving you now. You'll be given the official announcement later on who's carried the day.
Yeah, due to technical issues, and there's a handshake with Chitumbo resigning. What a handshake. No, that was not a handshake. They're still playing. Chitumbo's still panicking. He's less than a minute on the clock. But due to technical issues, we'll not be able to continue with the commentary because we cannot see the game on our ends. So we'll be signing out now. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Makasa Mwenya from Alien Minds. Apologies, had some issues with the internet at the venue in terms of updating the board. But the GM has managed the win, and he carries the day. So I'm not sure if we're going to have prize giving. We'll see what happens. But otherwise, this is the end of the tournament and our live stream. Thank you so very much for following. Please, you could help us out a lot in terms of following us on Facebook and also subscribing to our YouTube channel. So from me, we love you, Zambia. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming through and watching the live stream. Until the next time. Bye.